Houses are selling for over asking in Toronto at an above normal pace. What is
Yeah.
that? Are you seeing that out there?
Every house I sold in the month of June has been over asking so far.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, there's lots of other houses obviously out there that are not, but like we've got a huge demand. Things are moving. I saw a huge number of sales on our at our office this month, so things are moving.
And
Yeah, and that's
is
the
it
metric.
above like $1 million homes, or like what's
One
the
was
category for it?
over 1.5, and the other one is like first time buyer under price range, and then the other ones that I'm seeing, like in the core, are like sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars over asking. Like you're talking about
Wow.
big changes, one day on the
Hmm.
market, that kind of stuff. So
So,
um,
so Vitalii has an interesting story. Unfortunately for Vitalii, but maybe not. But Vitalii had a deal going into COVID that was a firm deal on the Parkside property that I was talking about, which is a beautiful property right across from High Park. Like literally, you walk across the street and you are at the entrance to High Park. You walk down the street the other way and you're at the Bloor and Parkside or Keele station. So it's like within walking distance to Subway. It's within walking distance to the park. It's a beautiful property, and he had it sold. He had it firm, and then it fell apart because of the situation. Do you wanna talk about that a little bit, Vitalii?
Sure. Yes, the
no,
good times.
No, but it's
Well,
good because you know what
it's
people are looking for live, actual information. You read these
yep.
articles, you don't know what to believe, but this actually happened to you.
Yeah. So I think the property went firm on March 6th, March 8th, right around there, and then March 15th. Obviously, we know everything. The world shut down. Throughout the process, the closing date was April 23rd. So throughout the process, they've asked the buyers asked for an extension. They asked for quite a large extension, I believe, for 2 months. So instead of April 22nd to July 22nd, and that was around March 20th. So we said, look, you have all the time in the world to close. So why don't we just, see where you're going to be at in 2-3 weeks, and then we'll grant the extension or some kind of an extension. Because they weren't able to put the financing together that quickly but they had like 5 weeks. So, anyways, we just said we negotiated that we're gonna take a look into their situation within about 3 weeks. 3 weeks came around. They said, you know what, everything's fine. We found somebody that's going to finance it, so we're going through. A couple of days prior to the sale, we signed off on all the documents. April 22nd, we're waiting for the release, and getting a check basically the next day. And then 9:30 p.m. on April 22nd, we get a letter from their lawyer that he's no longer representing the buyer, and the buyer's new lawyer sends us another letter saying that they discovered something that's unique to the property, that's not feasible for their client, and they're looking for us to fix it before the closing, which is 6 p.m. the next day, and the city's closed. So basically pulling out of the transaction, which the next day we try to get a hold of them the whole day. No answer, no phones, no nothing. And then we close up the
And this is something that we found out that they knew for a while, right? Like this wasn't something they
correct.
figured out like the day before and go, oh, by the way, we realized that your garage is encroaching on the neighbor's property
Yeah.
yesterday, and now we don't know what to do, right? This was
Right.
like
Yeah.
you
they
found
were
it.
using it
They
to,
had a couple of weeks. Yeah, a couple of weeks.
yeah,
To
They
do
the
were
it.
title
using
search
it.
date, they would have found that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but crazy, and now, so now, I mean, where are we? We're end of June. So, how far away is that? April, May. So, 2.5 months later, and houses are selling for over asking again, and we've got detached housing market in Toronto is balanced in June, which is pretty crazy from being like 80%, or how low, how far down were we from last year's numbers? Wasn't it like 87% down?
sales numbers are still down. So what they're talking about balances, they're just talking about sales versus
Sales to listings, right? Yeah.
So,
Oh, so that was always balanced, though.
remember though, our perspective of balanced in Toronto is not the same perspective of balanced in other major
No, but it
cities.
says
Balanced for us
Toronto.
is
Look, it says
like
Toronto.
buyers, prices are selling, things are going up, and they're going up a little bit, but nothing like 2017, like April or March, right? So our interpretation of balance is a little bit different here.
So,
So balance is seller's market.
But we talked about it before. Like the whole time, the sales to listings ratio was kind of moving in tandem down and then started moving up again. It's always been balanced. But doesn't balance does not reference that there's enough buyers to satisfy the demand of the sellers as well?
Two metrics are sales to new listings ratio and months of inventory.
Months of
So
inventory.
they want to know, they want to know exactly how many sales are happening versus how many new listings are coming out each month, and exactly how many properties are currently on the market, and at the current monthly sales rate, how many months would it take for those properties to all be sold.
Right.
And so being in that 2 to 3 months of inventory is always considered a balanced market. 40 to 60% sales to new listing ratio is always deemed to be fairly balanced. But again, it's in the seller's favor. Like, I mean, you can confidently say, if I put my house on the market at a reasonable price based on what area, sales have been, I will get my house sold.
Balanced in Toronto is a seller's market.
It feels like it, right?
Right? Yeah.
It is, right? Like that's what it is.
So, but we're